Welcome everybody to Patriotic Pro Wrestling. My name is Bill Apter from OneWrestling.com, and we are absolutely thrilled to have all of you here at our first. Everybody knows who these gentlemen are, no strangers to to any wrestling fan. They held the WWF tag team belts, and they're also great wrestlers individually. Let's give it up for Greg the Hammer Valentine. And Brutus the Barber Beefcake. All right. Can everybody back there see okay? Okay. First question is, who put the two of you together? Greg?
Well, I think it was George Scott. He was a matchmaker. I know it was George Scott, and along with Vince McMahon too, but George Scott had a vision. Brutus was with Johnny Valiant. Luscious Johnny Valiant was his manager, and Brutus was rather new with the wrestling. Well, he was, he had just really broken into the main events, and he was wrestling Hogan. And he just started, George Scott said, how would you like to have a partner and start, take Brutus along, take him under your wing and start wrestling with Brutus? I said, fantastic. And we were already friendly. Well, we became good friends after that. And for a long, long time, we wrestled on and off. He would have his matches with Hogan or single matches, and I was the Intercontinental Champion. I'd wrestle Tito or whoever who was challenging me, but every time we went against a tag team, and so we were really warming up for the big time that we actually went for the world titles in Philadelphia, and we won them. Actually, we'd only been actually tagging off and on for a year, and then we just had a great team. It just meshed right together.
Did it mesh right together very quickly, or did it take some time?
I'd say it meshed together quickly. I mean, Greg and I, our styles are not, definitely completely different. But a lot of times opposites attract, and there was just something about Greg and I that mouthed together that worked wherever we went. Greg had the flashy robes, and Brutus had the strut and the fancy moves, and Greg was the steady, sure-handed, second generation wrestler, and I was pretty much like you said, more of a newcomer to the main events with a lot of energy and a lot of charisma out there, and then it was just a great combination, that went down in history as one of the best.
Let's take our first question from the audience here. Show of hands. Question for Greg Valentine. That gentleman right there. Was it true, Brutus, that you had to have reconstructive surgery done on your face?
Absolutely. I have 8 titanium plates, 32 screws, and 100 feet of stainless steel wire in my face right now and forever, for the rest of my life.
And that was the result of, I know, but tell them.
That was a result of a boating accident in 1990, July 4th, which I was hospitalized and not expected to live. And I was able to make a full recovery, which they never expected. Thanks to the big man upstairs.
He's still here. All right. By the way, we can hear your questions up here, but for the benefit of the videotape, I'm repeating the questions, so all the way back there.
Who was your toughest tag team opponents?
Toughest tag team opponents. Greg, you want to field that one first?
I can answer that really, really fast. The British Bulldogs. Yeah. Those guys were fantastic, and we won the belts from Wyndham Rotunda, and they more or less broke up. They fell apart right after that, so they never really had a chance to recapture the belts. But the British Bulldogs came along, and those guys they fought us and fought us and fought us, and eventually, with the help of Ozzy Osbourne and a few other things that they threw into the ring, along with the kitchen sink, we lost the belts in WrestleMania 2. And we fought hard to get them back, but we went to Australia and for about 6 months and never got a chance to get them back. So,
do you agree on the British Bulldogs?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely. The British Bulldogs were a couple of real young, tough individuals. very well seasoned, very extremely talented athletes, and we had some major battles. Some of the best matches probably Greg and I have ever had were very against the British Bulldogs, Saturday night main events, 2 out of 3 falls, 45, 50 minutes, an hour basically in the ring, going full steam ahead with a couple of guys that are probably about half our ages. So, we had some real tough battles, no doubt.
Thank you. Next question. Right there. Singles matches, Greg, your toughest opponent.
That's a real hard one to answer. I guess repetitious-wise, a guy that I wrestled more than anybody in single matches, so I would have, because Ronnie Garvin, I would say, is number 2. Tough machine, but I'd have to give it to Tito Santana because he just hung in there.
Great choice.
Yeah.
How many Tito Santana fans here? Lots of them. Okay, great choice. Next question. Gentleman over there.
Have either one of you ever broken a bone in the course of a match? And if the answer is yes, did it end the match right then, or were you able to continue?
Okay, so did either of you break a bone during the course of a match, and if so, did the match end at that particular point?
Our bones?
Yes.
I've broken bones, but not my own.
What's it?
Broke Hillbilly Jim's leg, and that ended his career almost. And
No bone injuries to either one of you?
No, I cracked the British Bulldog's neck, and I also broke Jim Brunzell's wrist, and I broke Ric Flair's nose.
The T-shirt. What about that T-shirt?
Oh, and I broke Wahoo's leg, broke Tito Santana's leg. Man, I broke a lot of bones. Oh, you can't. I think Jim Brunzell was like, he was shocked because we both looked at each other and his wrist broke. And it was in a tag match against the Killer Bees. I hated those guys. Poor Jim, though. I felt sorry for Jim. I hated Brian Blair. Hate's a bad thing to say. I shouldn't say that. I'm a little more mature to say.
Animosity.
Yeah, I had a lot of animosity against the guy.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
Next question. That young lady back there. Okay. Any regrets being in the pro wrestling business?
Oh, absolutely not. It's been a great ride. Greg and I have been around the world dozens of times, wrestled all over the planet for probably over 1 billion people. Just think about that statement. 1 billion people, live audiences. And in our years together, we have between us about 70 years of experience. Think about it, between just 2 guys. And, it's an honor, it's a privilege to be able to touch so many people's lives and have an effect on the people all over the planet.
Greg, any regrets?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm a second-generation wrestler. Johnny Valentine, my dad, was my soul and inspiration for getting into the wrestling profession. And he did it for over 30 years until he was in a plane crash, which crippled him. And he, otherwise, he said he would have wrestled till he was 70 years old, like Lou Thez did. But I've been in it over 3 decades, and I think Brutus is getting close to that too. And I wouldn't still be in the pro wrestling sport right now today with patriotic wrestling and everything if it's a career with me, but other than that, it's a real passion for me. And if you take wrestling away from me, I wouldn't really have anything left. It's my whole life.
Thank you, Greg. This gentleman right here. Who do you? Does that include non-wrestling people or anyone in the wrestling business? Who do you admire the most?
Well, no doubt, Greg Hammer's definitely one of my heroes. Like I said, he took me under his wing and showed me the ropes in the New York area, which the New York City is not a place to play around. For inexperienced people, a lot of people have gone into that city and never come out. And Greg took me under his wing there and taught me the ropes there, and it was something that carried on into the business for me. And probably guys like Hulk Hogan who helped to make our business great, and it was a pretty good positive role model through the years for people, and I'd have to say, and there's still a few guys around, but that's about it for me.
All right, Greg?
Well, I've got several of them. Andre the Giant, he was a great guy, and I met him way back in the late 70s when we went to Japan, and I was sitting way back in the back of the airplane and coach, and he's up in first class, and he went back and brought me up front. He says, "Come on, boss," and he took me all over Japan. I have a lot of admiration for Hulk Hogan, what he's done for the business. My ex-partner, Ric Flair, he's still out there doing it. Rugged Ronnie Garvin. And I got to mention Tito, too, because he was a great opponent. And, of course, Brutus.
I've got to ask you this question because we get a lot of criticism at OneWrestling.com about this. People say Ric Flair should pack it in already, but when you see a match like he had this past week, this ladder match that he had, tables, ladders, and chairs, do you think Ric Flair should have packed it in already?
I'm just a year younger than him, so I would have to say I need to pack it.
Good answer.
And I wrestled in the WWE last November, and it's a thrill to still be out there. And for Rick, it's just like myself. He's just wrestling personified. He's Slick Rick, and he's not going to stop. And if he died in the ring, he would be happy there, probably more than any other place.
Thank you, Greg. She said you look better out there than he does.
Thank you. I don't know, maybe my surgeon is a little better.
That gentleman all the way in the back. Nice and loud. Toughest point of your careers?
I'd have to say the beginning.
Breaking in.
Wrestling for probably 6 years, scraping and scratching, living in cars, not being able to afford, almost not being able to afford to eat, just having enough money to buy gas, sleeping in people's apartments, sleeping in your car, going from one town to the next, and going and wrestling older guys and getting your butt kicked and the floor mopped up with you and dragging your butt on to the next night and the next night and the next night and getting the same treatment day after day and after day, and you had to want it pretty bad to take the kind of beatings and then go through the stuff and do the miles and thousands of miles and hang in there. There's a lot of guys that never made it and that tried that never stuck it out, because it was tough.
Yeah, so it's not the Marriott Hotel night after night.
No, it was very tough.
Greg?
Exactly. It was a Marriott hotel after you made it and got in the main events, and then you were flying. But we did a lot of long trips. Probably the hardest. My dad really didn't want me to be a wrestler and wanted me to pursue something else, and because he knew it was a rough life. But he never had the vision that wrestling would have become as huge as it did. I mean, it was huge when, because he was in New York and Chicago and places like that, but it wasn't huge everywhere. Now it's huge everywhere, and it turned out great for me. But I remember those days I worked up in Calgary. It was 30 below zero, and trips where we wrestled in Regina, Saskatchewan, and drove all the way back 400, 500 miles and ice and snow, and got in at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we still had to wrestle that night in Calgary. So those days, my dad opened the door for me, but he didn't help me out after that. And it was the first 4 or 5 years, it was tough.
How many people, by show of hands here, ever saw Johnny Valentine compete? Yeah, quite a few. Johnny Valentine, the great Johnny Valentine. Okay, there was a young man back there with his hand up, right there. Yes? How long did you hold the tag team belts?
I think it's close to a year. Yeah.
All right, next question, somebody who hasn't asked yet. Well, hold on a sec.
Whose idea was it with the feud with Chief J. Strongbow? And any comments on the Grand Wizard of Wrestling?
The Grand Wizard of Wrestling.
Well, actually, Chief J. Strongbow was a perfect opponent for me. I was finished with Bob Backlund, went around the horn for the world belt, and got close to becoming a world champion. And he was kind of the next guy down, and I wrestled him and broke his leg with a figure four. And so I was more or less stuck with him, but we drew some tremendous crowds. Tremendous crowds. What was the other question?
Any comments on the Grand Wizard?
Comments on the Grand Wizard.
You know, he was a
One of our favorite managers.
he was a wonderful man, and Bill knew Ernie. Ernie was his real name, and he was a great, wonderful man. I used to visit him in Fort Lauderdale all the time, and a sweetheart of a guy, and I still miss him till this day.
I get to do my imitation now of the Grand Wizard. How many people remember the Grand Wizard? When I tell you that Greg the Hammer Valentine will destroy Chief J Strongbow, write it down. Thank you. All right. McMahon. This gentleman right here.
Do y'all stay in contact with the older school generation wrestlers that came up along with y'all, like the Hulk Hogan's, Ric Flair's, Arnie Ladd's, and along that line right there?
So who do you stay in touch with on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, well, Brutus, Tito, I just offhand, I superstar Billy Graham. I talked to him a lot. And Ernie Ladd. There's a lot of guys. I'm just digging for it. But I see it. We do a lot of conventions nowadays. There's ones out in Las Vegas, and plus there's been a lot of wrestle reunions, and a lot of guys where we sign autographs and stuff, and plus have wrestling matches. And so I've seen a lot of the guys like Terry Funk. I'm good friends with Terry Funk too.
Brutus, what about you?
Yeah, the same guys. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is another guy. Had cancer, and he's a cancer survivor. Bless his heart, and he's still out there competing to this day. And geez, I'm trying to think.
Still in touch with the Hacksaw.
Yeah, I still see
Bret Hart.
Roddy. Has always been a good friend to me and Greg. We don't leave him out, man. He's definitely one of the legends in this business. I always look up to Roddy in my earlier career, and he took a lot of things out of his book. I was fortunate to do the barber shops and have my own little thing like Roddy's Piper's Pit. The Brutus's barber shop, was a pretty great success, and I have to say.
All right, that gentleman's had his hand up for like 18 minutes. The Freebird's still around. Terry Gordy passed away many years back. Michael Hayes is currently employed in by the WWE in a backstage persona. Sir?
Have either one of you in the past wrestled the Junkyard Dog? Do you have any special remembrance with him?
Did you wrestle JYD? Him.
I wrestled him a lot. I wrestled him in a tour in Australia, and wrestled him many, many times. Yeah, he was a real tough individual. I knew him from the 80s from wrestling in Louisiana when I first met him, and I liked him a lot. And over the years, I got to know him well, and it's a shame that he's no longer with us. He was a guy that'd probably be sitting right here with us right now.
Oh, absolutely. He was way ahead of his time. He really was.
Sylvester Ritter. I wrestled him WrestleMania 1, the very first one. And I have admiration for the guy. He was a sweetheart of a guy, and he's passed away, and I regret it.
Was he related to Stagger Lee? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. That boy, go ahead. What's that? Have you wrestled each other?
We don't like to wrestle each other, though. I'd much rather be his partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm breaking in here for a bulletin. You mentioned one of the people who you stay in touch with so often. His name, I think you said Roddy Piper. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand up. Give a standing ovation as we bring in to our Q&A, Roddy Piper. Welcome. Welcome to Patriotic Pro Wrestling, our first Q&A. And I generally have questions to start off with, but these people have so many questions. This guy right over there, what's your question?
Hey, champ, how you doing, buddy?
You may, by the way, if you'd like to sit down and be comfortable. Go ahead. Have you ever faced Rob Van Dam in a match?
No, I never have. Oh, I'm sorry.
If
But I will before the night's out, okay?
if
Track 'em down.
if you had your dream match, Roddy Piper against RVD, how would the match end? Who would win that match? All right. All right. Next question. And again, all questions for Roddy, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus Beefcake is still up here. Yes, sir. Did Vince Russo ruin WCW, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Wasn't the Boogeyman. That's
Oh, actually, Vince Russo wasn't there then. He came in later, but you know, it was a very, you know, it was a good, real combination. It took a real effort to ruin the business there because it was really how they did it. I'm not even sure to this day. We really had a great, successful business going there, and it took a real effort and a bunch of idiots to mess up such a good thing. I can't believe to this day they were able to do it. It's amazing to me how anybody could screw up something so good.
all right. Next question, please. Gentleman right over there.
I've heard it said that you had personal animosity or beef with Hulk Hogan. Is that true?
Do you have a beef against Hulk Hogan, a personal beef?
When before WrestleMania 1, there was it was called the War to Settle the Score. At that particular time, Hogan had come from Minneapolis and made an alliance with Vince Jr. in Japan. I got hired by Vince Sr. And when I got there, I had been on TBS for about a year and a half, which was natural, with Gordon Soley. It was working well. When they brought Hogan in, they wanted Hogan to be a corporate wrestler, we'll say. And I'm not taking anything away from the guy. I think the guy's great. However, when it came time to wrestle him, I got 4 kids, and I said, you know, I don't do windows and I don't take dives. Well, when that happens and you're about to meet in Madison Square Garden with 20,000 Puerto Ricans with knives, you know. Yeah, so, but as the years have gone by, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and that's where it lies, man.
Have you seen Hogan Knows Best yet? The TV show?
Because she's in an academy for acting and all. When it's on, all the kids there put it on just to torture her. So, you know, she'll learn a bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next question for our panel up here. That gentleman right in the middle there. Nice and loud. Your favorite match, Greg Valentine?
My favorite match, I don't have a favorite one. My favorite one is when I win and I get back and I'm not hurt.
Roddy Piper, your favorite match?
I've had over 7,000 of them. So, favorite one, I think the one that stands out the most was the War to Settle the Score in Madison Square Garden, because it was the first time that, you know, there's Liberace with the Rockettes, you know, and they're dancing, you know. Hi, Roddy. What do you wear under your kill? You know? All right, and there's Little Richard's handing out Bibles saying, you know, Adam's supposed to be with Eve, not Steve, you know. And, so I'd say it's War to Settle the Score, man.
All right. Brutus?
Oh, wow, yeah. Like Roddy said, I've probably had 5,000 to 6,000 matches in 30 years, so it's tough to say. You know, been involved in probably 9 or 10 WrestleManias and Royal Rumbles and SummerSlams and, you know, a million pay-per-views, and you know, just all of them have just been, you know, been great.
Gentleman back there. How do you keep in shape? You're on the road all the time. When do you get time to go to a gym?
Catching airplanes, running for the terminal, running for the gate. You know, it actually is a yin and yang situation, because you're wrestling at nighttime, and if you don't go to the gym in the morning, you're all bent up. You can't get everything fixed and back in place, and you don't have much of a career left. So the gym becomes part of getting out of the match the night before, and so, yeah, you have to do it. So it's kind of a yin-yang situation.
Answer your question? All right. Next question, someone who hasn't asked one yet. Anybody Gentleman right over there. Dog collar chain match. Whose idea was the dog collar chain match at Starcade?
True story. I hate you. I went Jimmy Crockett. What has happened is Bruno Sammartino and Larry Sabisco did $500,000 in the Shea Stadium, and it was literally the South against the North. And so Jimmy Crockett came to me and he says, I want you to come up with the most brutal match you can come up with. He says, I want chains in it, I want leathers in it, I want spikes in it. You know, I didn't know what he was watching on TV, man, but you know, and so, or whatever. Yeah, you know, kids, you know. But so I thought, I started thinking, and I went to a shoemaker, man, and I got these collars. They're like an inch and a half, and then I thought, chains. Well, we'll tie the chains there, and then them guys got to. Spikes. We'll put spikes around the collars and them guys, and I did. And I come to Jimmy Crockett, you know, oh, there it is. And he said this to me. He says, do you think that's going to fit around your neck? Me? And I didn't know it, so I stole it back when Jimmy went out, and I violated I didn't violate a sheep. I went and got sheep's wool. Old Scotsman, you know. I put sheep's wool inside of him, but it didn't matter. He took the hearing out of my left ear. Yeah, but you know, that's exactly how that happened.
Greg, would you like to, since you were the other participant, say something about that match?
Well, you know, the Starcade '83, there was no such thing as pay-per-view yet, so that was really the first pay-per-view because it was closed-circuited all over the South. And so it was the NWA is what it was called back then before it was WCW. So, you know, I was going to say something about the kid in the back wanted to know my favorite match. I could have told him the match I hated the most, and that was that match because it was brutal. They just released it on DVD, and it's in the stores now. And I never got to see a real good copy of it until I got my own DVD and watched it. And, you know, 20 years or 22 years later, you're looking at this, and you know, I'm really proud of it. I don't want to do it again, you know.
They took.
I have those dog collars in the car.
You have them in the car?
I had to do a lecture. Those dog collars in the car. You guys want to see them?
You.
We got Sid Liddy out there.
You know, that was actually, when people talk about wrestling being hardcore today, you guys were like the innovators of hardcore back then.
We were I was fighting for my life. You know, I had kids to feed, and the premise was, you know, that they wanted a match so brutal. This is where, you know, you and I are really stupid, man. We wanted I was stupid. They wanted a match so brutal. You're scaring me. They were so brutal that people would keep coming back to see the brutality. Well, we were just thinking one of them. We had to do it 40 times, you know. So that's why we're wrestlers. Stupid, man.
All right. Are you trying to tell us we only have 5 minutes left? Okay. All right. This gentleman right here. Oh, hang on one sec. The dog collar chain. Wow. Hold it up so everyone can see it, please, if you would.
12-foot chain on it. That's the sheep.
That's the sheep.
And that, yeah, we both had rashes around here. It looked like herpes zoster 111. And Greg, one time, Greg had a thing around, and he was pounding me, and people thought he was swearing at me. And he said to me, "Only a moron would put sheep's wool inside of a dog collar." You know, so there they are, man.
Oh man, we have time for 1 or 2 more questions, sir. 2 questions for 3. Okay. Or would you rather do 3 questions for 2? No, go right ahead. Okay, let's go with the WrestleMania moment. Then we have time for 1 more question, and we have to get out to do the show. Your favorite WrestleMania moment?
I'd have to say walking into running into the ring, WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome. You're standing there, 93,000 people screaming so loud that even the announcers, Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, couldn't hear each other just sitting there. It was the it's the first time I actually looked at the people. I didn't often look at the people, and it was just an incredible place to be.
Brutus, your favorite WrestleMania moment?
I actually was involved in Roddy's match on the end. I came in and he had a hair match with Adrian, and I handed Roddy the scissors and the razor and the shaver, and he looked at me and he handed it back. He goes, "Go to it, man!" And that's when it started out. That's where the barber was born that night, and made history.
And Greg, your favorite WrestleMania moment?
Well, I have a lot of favorites, but can I just say the craziest moment I remember? In Chicago, WrestleMania 2, when Brutus and I lost the belts, and I looked at Ozzy Osbourne, and he yells, "British Bulldogs forever!"
All right, we'll take one quick question to end it. Let me see if there's someone who hasn't asked a question yet. Someone who has that gentleman all the way in the back. The movie where you're wearing the weird glasses.
The movie called They Live, man. Hey, I'll tell you something. There's another movie John Carpenter made, was something like Big Trouble in Little China. Was that Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell? Well, if you look at Kurt Russell, he's wearing these glasses. Well, they had them left over from that movie. That's the glasses we use for They Live. God, see, man. Yeah.
Let's all get up and give these gentlemen a standing ovation. Roddy Piper, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and we'll see you at the matches. Thank you all. And as you know, the mission statement of Patriotic Pro Wrestling, and why I'm so glad to see everybody here tonight, is that proceeds from every ticket you bought tonight and merchandise go to buy phone cards for the troops, so they in turn can call their loved ones and not have to worry about it. Now we have a very special guest I'm going to bring out in a moment, but before we do that, I'd like to know, does anyone have any general wrestling questions they'd like answered? Any questions? That young lady right over there. Nice and loud, stand up. And for our video, do we have another mic out there by any chance so everybody can hear the questions? Anybody? Where's the other microphone? Tom, have we got another microphone over there? Yes. And we'll get your question in 1 minute, so don't go away. All right, that'd be great. If somebody can stay there and pass the mic around to the young lady. How many people have visited www.Patriotic Pro Wrestling so far? You have? Great. Fantastic. Okay, your question, young lady.
I'd like to know what year Roddy Piper started wrestling in.
What year Roddy Piper started wrestling in? I'll tell you what. Roddy Piper will answer that question. Okay? One or two more questions before I bring on my special guest. Any other general wrestling questions? Anything you want to know about the wrestling magazines or OneWrestling.com? Yes, sir.
How did wrestling get started?
How did wrestling get started?
Yes, sir.
That's a very good question. Pro wrestling dates back way, way back to medieval times when two people would just get together in competition and try to beat each other. There was no actual date or time recorded, but even Abraham Lincoln used to wrestle. Okay, hope that answers your question. Yes? You have a quick question? Right over there?
What size is a regulation ring pipe?
Usually 22.
20?
Yes, 18 to 22.
Okay.
All right, one more question. That boy over there had a question? Before we bring our guest out? We'll get right to you. Yes, sir.
What is the magazine about all the Von Erichs? I almost know.
Say that again, please.
What is the magazine about all the Von Erichs?
You're looking for a magazine all about the Von Erichs? Okay, I'm not aware of one that's available at this point, but we'll try and find one for you. And the last question over there, we'll try and get that information for you.
What's the baddest match in the WWE?
The baddest match? Whew. How many of you saw Edge against the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, this past Monday night? In the tables, ladders, and chair match. That was the baddest match in the WWE. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now it is my privilege and my honor. Let's all stand up and greet this icon of professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, Roddy Piper! Come on, Paris, we can do better than that. Before we take questions from the fans, tell us about why you're here at Patriotic Pro Wrestling.
I don't have a clue. No, I know I'm here.
I know you do.
Let me take a look what's going on here.
Hey, we over here too, honey.
Come on around this side.
Come on, have a seat. Yeah, you know what? I'm the reason why we've got no hair. The reason I'm here is to help support the troops. You know, they have $30,000 of money being given to phone cards for our boys over there that are keeping us safe, boys and ladies over there, keeping us safe. And it's really because of you people. And I'm proud to be here to see you folks and to, you know, we take a lot for granted. But well, why don't you get your bum over there?
Hey, we got you, Bob.
And I think we take a lot of things for granted in this country. You know, we're really lucky people. I'm not an American. I'm very proud to be here. I fight for the country. And this is my way of helping.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's take our first question to Roddy Piper. Right down there, that young lady. We pass the mic over to her. Well, we're going to start with this gentleman.
What was your best match?
You should have seen the one I had with my wife before I got here.
Oh,
my best match? I've had over 7,000 of them. My best match, I'd say probably maybe the War to Settle the Score. First time it's a match that led into WrestleMania. Myself against Hogan would have been the one that I'm going to top this.
Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, that young lady.
What year did you start wrestling in?
Oh, you had to ask me that, didn't you?
I told him you were that.
You know what, man? I just had my first grandchild, 4 months old she is. I started wrestling when I was 15 years old. I was in 1969. It was in winter time because I was sleeping in an alley. And I've come full circle. I'm back in an alley. Apter's alley.
Well, Piper's there.
Thank you. How did Piper's Pit start?
Great question.
Yeah, in the beginning.
You can hold it.
No, sir. This is yours.
Well, thank you.
God bless you. I'll tell you how it started. New York wanted to take over wrestling all over the place, and so they called a lot of wrestlers that would be rebels that didn't align with one promoter or another. And at that time, there was Paul Orndorff, David Schultz, Don Morocco, Andre, a lot of guys, and they were competing. And they were killing each other in the ring because they were wrestling on TV, and all of them wanted to get over so they could be the main event. And I was in a bar in St. Louis with Vince McMahon Jr. His daddy hired me. And I said to him, I was looking around and I was seeing what everybody was doing. I thought, well, if I wrestle on TV, why are they going to pay to see me wrestle? So I said to Vince Jr., you give me a mic stand and a bow tie in 5 weeks. If I don't get the job done, I'm out of here. And the first Piper's Pit was Frankie Williams. And yeah, and that's exactly how it started.
Okay, you must have, you traveled for many years on the road with some of the greatest wrestlers in the universe. Do you have a great Andre the Giant story you could share with us?
No, I'm trying to think what I can tell you. Yeah, I got one. There's these. This is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I don't know what these guys are thinking. There was some teenagers there, and I think they had a couple of beers or something, and Andre was coming out. They had like a Buick or something. Andre was coming out, and they had quite a bit to drink. And they said something negative to Andre the Giant, because I don't understand that at all. And what happened was the guy that was picking up Andre, he pulled in front so the car couldn't go straight ahead, and Andre going over there, and he started pushing that car, and that car started going over like that and it started bouncing, and he put that car right over on its side and took off, and then drunk teenagers trying to call the police saying, a giant came and turned our car over. That's good. That's a true story, man.
Next question, please. Next question, right there.
How was your boogeyman? Or how was the interview with the boogeyman a couple weeks ago?
That's a weird guy, isn't it?
He eats worms, man. Yeah. Nobody loves me, everybody hates me. Guess I eat some worms. That's a strange piece of business for me. I guess I'm old school. But I was praying, man. You know, I was praying and Protestant, Catholic, and Jewish. Yes, you know. Yes, I did, yeah. He's a strange fellow. I wouldn't do it. But, you know, if he wants to eat worms and he wants to do all that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, when the bell rings, I don't really care what he eats. My job is to beat him, and that's the way I look at it.
I wonder what the nutritional value of worms is.
Well, it's protein.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Next question. That boy right down over there? Is that Tyler?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll be right with you, Tyler. Right here.
What's the best advice you could give to somebody coming into the business?
Great question. There are no real training grounds for kids trying to break into the business, not like it used to be. Somebody comes over to you and says, Mr. Piper, I want to be a wrestler. How do you guide them?
Oh, man, you should go to school. Also, Sarah, you know, you just go there. Right there.
Yeah.
God bless you.
We're stuck together.
Sincerely, it's a really tough way to make a business. Just so you know, the statistics of wrestling, since 1997, 71 wrestlers have died under the age of 45. We have the highest death rate of any sport. To try to answer your question is, right now they have places like this right here. And I would suggest to you that one would go to an amateur camp and learn amateur wrestling. You need to know your, you need to know your basics and your balance. And then from that, like for instance, patriotic wrestling, you may be able to come, get a promoter and get your first match. You get in the ring there and you try as hard as you can to get yours. Do the best you can. But a lot of folks, you know what they do? I was 167 amateur wrestling champion, gold medal champion when I was 15 and I came in. I didn't come into professional wrestling to be a professional wrestler. It was an accident. Somebody didn't show up and the guy said I could pay you $25 Canadian. So I went down and I fought the guy and I got lost in 10 seconds. The guy name was Larry Henry, and the promoter kind of said, and I come back, my nose is broke, my eyes droop. This promoter says to me, "Kid, you did great. How'd you like to go to Kansas City?" Larry Henry gonna be there? And, no, we won't overmatch you, you know, and the way I went. So that's how I got in, was just by accident. But I tell you this, when you go to school and back yourself up, I got 4 kids of my own, and that would be the smartest way. That way you gotta feel safe.
Great answer. Thank you, Rob. Next question. Start with Tyler down there.
What league do you wrestle in?
Say that again, Tyler?
What league do you wrestle in?
What league do you wrestle in?
You still got God dust on you, man. Way too cute. What league do I wrestle in? I guess I wrestle in WWE, and for anybody else that'll pay me, I'm one of them renegades. So I'll wrestle for over in Japan, for New Japan. Just for you, for the answer is basically anybody that'll pay me because I'm a fighter, and the guy with the biggest dollar, that's who I go for.
Roddy, you say you're a fighter. Who are some of the other tough guys that you could put that term fighter on that you've been in the ring with through the years?
Oh, these folks, you ever heard of Mad Dog Bashan? Yeah, holy cow, Mad Dog Bashan. Mad Dog Bashan is a tough fighter. Domino Jonathan, tough guy. One time, guy coming in the ring and Don Neil Jonathan saw him. He was a Savat player, and he kicked him so hard the guy was out for three days, and the guy didn't come around. They were going to charge him for murder, you know. So he's another fellow that's kind of in. You know, those are a couple of them.
All right. Next question, please.
Hi. I was wondering if John Cena's ever going to end up in the Piper's Pit, and who's your favorite wrestler?
John Cena on Piper's Pit. Will that happen?
Have a wrap-off or something, man. I don't even know what I'm going to do tonight. That's God's truth. Anybody got an idea what I'm going to do tonight with Kerry Von Erich? Kevin,
yes.
What was the question?
About John Cena being on Piper's Pit.
Oh, the wrestling was at 7,000, I can't remember. Yeah, I'd have John Cena on the pit in a second. But some of these guys, they don't want to be on the pit. It's like the short straw, because I don't cut them much slack. And, you know, while they're jumping up and down on the apron, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in kind of boring in on. When we do it tonight, I really don't have a plan. I'm just going to kind of follow you folks, but when it's on, you know, when it's on television, it goes to 102 countries. I got 4 kids I'm feeding, so John Cena, you go ahead and come on in, but, you know, expect to have some trouble. Pardon me, sir?
Watch the deal, really?
Would you give that gentleman the microphone, please? We can't hear you up here. I'd pay to see a Piper's Pit with John Cena.
Are you interviewing Rick Valentine tonight?
Well,
as a legend interview?
God bless you, man. He scares me to death. I lost half the hearing in this year in a dog collar match with him. He got big sausage fingers. I think if he comes in that door, I'm going to go out that door.
He's been down that. I was available, right?
The guy's got to know when to back off, too, man.
What if he can run in and out and you can get around it?
I'll tell you what. You come in the ring when he comes, all right? You take first shot at him, and there we go.
I won't take no more Teddy, but I'm over both of them.
How many people here saw the DVDs and the videotapes of that great dog collar chain match between Roddy Piper and Greg the Hammer Valentine? One of the all-time classics. All right. And that was like the start of hardcore wrestling in many ways. What was it like? I mean, here you were, you had a dog collar and chain to Greg Valentine. What was going through your head to do a match like that?
The truth of the matter is there was a promoter named Jimmy Crockett in North Carolina, and he said to me, I want you to come up with the most dangerous match you can come up with, because he's going to put 2 wrestlers in it. He said to me, I want leathers, he says, I want chains, I want spikes in it. I'm thinking, I don't know if this guy's been watching on TV, you know, all right. And I went down to a shoemaker, and the shoemaker made an 1.5-inch collar that went around the neck, and I'm thinking, okay, 1.5-inch collar, 1.5-inch collar. And then I got a 12-foot logger chain, and I attached it to the collars, and I waited like spikes. So I put spikes around the collar. So I brought it to Jim Crockett, and there's my creation. And Jim Crockett looked at me and he says, you sure that's going to fit your neck? It's my neck. I didn't know I was going to be in it. And when Jimmy Crockett left, then I scolded back, and I went and violated the sheep. And I didn't violate the sheep. No, I didn't.
This is a family.
Sorry, I apologize, sir. I went to find a sheep, and I cut the wool off, and I put the wool in the collars, trying to give us a break, because, you know, it's a big piece of business. Just say, hang on. And so there's a very famous picture of Valentine with a chain. Last year he was here, and he's pounding me in the ear, and everybody thinks he's swearing at me. What he's saying to me, he says, only a moron would put sheep's wool in dog collars. And that's exactly how it happened, man.
That's a great story. I have 4 words here. What do you want? You. She wants you, Rowdy. Our next question. Go.
What's your finisher?
What's your finishing move?
I like to choke them out. You know, it's good to have 2 or 3 different kinds that you like. But I was tutored under a guy named Judo G. Lavelle. You can look him up on www.judognlavelle.com. He trained Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. He's 74 years old and only giving away 25 black belts. And so he was a choker. So a sleeper, they call it, or choke him out.
Okay, next question. Right there.
Hey, hi, me and my wife has enjoyed watching you on the Instagram as much as we have in the ring. Is there any more movies in the future?
I got thanks for the compliment. I just did 3 movies this last year, and I have one. I started exactly a week from today, and it's quite cool. The movie has got a fellow named Richard Tyson, who was in Black Hawk Down, and also Kindergarten Cop. He was the bad dad. And also, have you heard of a band named Korn? Yeah, I don't know that.
K-O-R-N, right?
Yeah, well, the lead singer of Korn plays the devil, and we're going to finish that up this year, and that'll be kind of closer to a They Live kind of movie. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I think you'll like that one a lot. At least I hope.
How many Roddy Piper movie fans do we have here? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. Okay.
Hey, what are you doing? Who do you think's the best wrestler by finisher and heart?
By finisher and
Heart.
heart? Heart. Okay. Best wrestler by finisher and heart.
I see what you're saying. I was just thinking that. I think Ric Flair is, I tell you, that's a figure 4, man. The way you get out of figure 4 is you got to grab the top rope and get on your feet, which is almost impossible. Good finisher. Most heart? Yeah, me.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Okay, our final question.
Rowdy, do you like doing what you do?
Do you like doing what you do?
Thank you. You know, I've been fighting 36 years, and there was a time I liked very much what I was doing, but then it became so much business, and it kind of got ugly, real ugly there in the 90s, and it kind of turned on me. But I very much, so to go back to the WWE or something like that, I don't have anything else to do there. I've done everything that I could think of and some stuff I made up. But to come here, this is cool. This is cool. I really enjoy it. I never get to see nobody. They keep me in a cabin. They don't let me out. It's true, man. You know what my dressing room is? I'm in the kitchen. There's nothing going on there. And I'm feel very lucky, very fortunate. First of all, I have a family because of you people, but to come and say hi to you people, I never get that chance. And that's really fun for me. It's hard to understand, but they coop you up. And bottom line is, I think you're great. I love you.
And we all love you. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only,